All right, here we go. How's everyone doing? We're live. Webcam looks amazing, right? Look at this. We've got the Burj Khalifa behind me. I keep on saying it. I don't know. It excites me so much. Got the Burj Khalifa behind me. And ready to live stream. So, video, audio check. How's everyone doing today? Let's see it in the comments if everything is okay. Shout out to Phil for asking everybody to smash up the likes as we come into the live stream. If you already know that this live stream is going to be amazing, because you know it will be, then please do smash up those likes. Very excited to get on another live stream. I haven't done one for a few days. Haven't done anything for a few days, actually, for two reasons. Number one, Bitcoin has done nothing. And number two, I've had some issues in my personal life. Nothing big, nothing serious, nothing sad, but some things did come up. So here we go. All right, everyone's saying it's good. Let's get straight into it. It's been a good day for the markets. Bitcoin set a new all-time high today at $50,000, just above $50,000. And actually, let's measure the percentage point. I want to look at this line. How high above this line did Bitcoin peak? 1.1%, 1.2%. So pretty good, pretty good. It went above 1%. It did turn out to be a fake out because since then we've actually dumped how much below 50k? To our current price by 3% and to the low by nearly 4%. So we absolutely have dumped a little bit since we faked out above 50k. But obviously I don't see anything bad happening here. As we come in, guys, please smash up the likes. Really appreciate your support. Like I said, it's been a little while since we've done a live stream, but I'm very, very happy to be back here. Gangster and Designer, excited for the analysis. Smash up those likes. Hell yeah, let's smash them up. I do know why we've had some connection issues lately. And it's because Dubai has absolutely terrible Wi-Fi infrastructure and wired internet infrastructure. However, the fix is close. Is my office in the World Trade Center? No, it's not. I believe it's close. Although I actually don't know if there is even a World Trade Center in Dubai. Maybe you're talking about the center in Dubai. Maybe you're talking about the District for International Finance, something like that, in Dubai, the DIFC. All right, here we go. Let's get straight into it. I'm going to take all your questions later on in this live stream. For now, I want to go through my core analysis. What we've seen here today, ladies and gents, is Bitcoin did end up pumping up above that $50,000 area. We did end up finding a little bit of resistance above $50,000, and really quite simply I think what we saw over here was that people decided when Bitcoin pumped above 50k that they wanted to take some profits. And admittedly, if we really zoom in, there wasn't a whole lot of buying pressure. If we look at, you know, the last time that we kind of attempted the level, we only went about double that, but that sounds like a lot. However, if we zoom out, we see that actually it's really not that much, although I don't know how much we do need to zoom out to see that. But yeah, you can see, look, I mean, this volume peaking at 50k, it's not significantly higher than when we pumped up from 45k. And the reason I'm showing you this is you would expect when we cross a level like $50,000 that Bitcoin would absolutely shoot up with volume, but the reality is there just weren't a lot of people buying. And that's why I think we did end up seeing something a little bit like a fake out earlier today, with Bitcoin ending up dropping lower. However, what is absolutely undeniable with this trend, my friends, is that Bitcoin is in a rising wedge. Bitcoin has been trading higher for about over a week now. Yeah, just over a week now, Bitcoin's been trading higher in a rising wedge, setting higher lows, classic signs of uptrend, setting higher lows, and broadly speaking, higher highs as well. Classic signs of an uptrend. And this to me means that actually Bitcoin is in a pretty good place now to end up pumping higher again. Because really what this is showing me is that as time goes on, the lows that the market is accepting are getting higher. This means every time Bitcoin tries, for example, to fall down to this level circle, it only manages to fall slightly higher, and then it has to bounce up again. And then it tries again, but it can't meet the previous low over here, and it bounces up again. This is telling me two things. Number one, the bears are getting weaker because they can't push the price as low as they originally did. Number two, the bulls are getting stronger because when the price does drop down, the bulls step in and they pump the price up. We can actually see that it's happening faster and faster. Look, we consolidated here. After some hours, after maybe about a day, we pumped up. Next time, after a few hours, we pumped up. Next time, same hour, we pumped up. So we can see that across the board with quite a few signs, the bulls are stepping in a little bit faster and the bears are losing strength a little bit faster as well. So this is very, very exciting. Shout out to Ice Wallow in the comments. Please smash up the likes as we come into this live stream today. I am getting some stream issues, so please let me know if we're having any connection issues. Isn't Rising Wedge a bearish pattern? Yes, it is. Typically it is, Deepak. However, I cover it quite regularly on this channel why it's not really a bearish pattern in crypto, in my opinion, and I can talk about that later, but I think most of you have already heard me talk about that, so I don't want to repeat it too much today. So what we have seen here is that these highs keep on getting pushed. And really, you know, the next point that I want to bring up along these lines is that we're in a situation here, in my opinion, where the sellers are just having a chance to offload their Bitcoins. And as soon as those sellers get exhausted, the market has to pump up, right? This is quite a simple concept. Let's say that there is 10,000 Bitcoins that need to be sold, and they're slowly being sold at the high, because obviously you don't want to sell all of your Bitcoins at once, because then you crash the market and you don't average a good exit price. The smart people are selling slowly over here, right? And so they're averaging a good exit price, and then we end up dumping lower when an idiot massively market sells, for example. But broadly speaking, these sell-offs happen slowly. And that's where we have distribution. And as soon as that supply has been exhausted and there's nothing left in the market, the price has to climb up to the higher level. This makes a lot of sense on the normal order books. You know, there is X number of Bitcoins being sold at right here, the current price, 48,450. There's X numbers of Bitcoin being sold over here. As soon as those Bitcoins have been bought, we go up to the next level, 48,451. And so on, and we keep climbing higher when the supply is exhausted. And that, on a more macro scale, is what's happening here, in my opinion. The last time I told you that this was happening was all the way down here at the $20,000 range, where I was telling you guys that, in my opinion, sellers were selling off their supply because they believed that this was a good exit price, and it bloody well was. I don't care if Bitcoin went up to 50K. Selling here was a very good idea, in my opinion. And they ended up, offloading some of their Bitcoin at these price levels. And then, because their supply was exhausted, the only thing left in the market were buyers, and that's why the price shot up. So that's what I'm seeing over here. And we're seeing signs of that. We're seeing that the bears are getting weaker. So we're seeing those early warning signs, those cracks in the wall. The bears are getting weaker. The bulls are getting stronger. They're pushing higher highs, and they're pushing higher lows as well. So the market definitely has the willingness to take this kind of direction as well. And today we peaked above this level. So the fact that it was a fake out doesn't discourage me, because it's just telling me that we're going to probably make another attempt. If this really were to be concerning, then we would have dumped very quickly already. But we haven't done that. And I think that worst case scenario, we might end up finding a little bit of support over here and then bouncing up again. And here means about the high 47,000s, low 48,000s, which is great news in my opinion, because this area actually used to act as a little bit of resistance for Bitcoin. Let me throw on some beautiful green boxes now to illustrate this. Look right here, 47,000, potentially acting as a little bit of resistance the first time around for Bitcoin, then flipped into support and support and support again. And so we're making really, really good use of these levels. And actually, one of the main things that our analyst inside of FORFLIES VIP wanted me to talk about is that if Bitcoin does come back down to test this level again, or actually more specifically to test 48,000, which is a box that looks a little bit more like this, and if Bitcoin does bounce up from this box, that it would be very bullish, because again, just very recently we were finding resistance here. Quite a bit of resistance. Just going back a few days ago, just 3 days ago, we were finding quite a bit of resistance at this green box. So if we are able to flip it and find support here, of course, that would be very, very exciting. We definitely have the bullish sentiment in the market. It's not like $50,000 is where we crossed the line of ludicrous price action. I think we crossed that when Bitcoin passed $10,000. I think we passed that when Bitcoin crossed $20,000 and $30,000 and $40,000. So it's not like 50,000 is all of a sudden too crazy. It's all too crazy. And I don't think that that's one of the reasons that Bitcoin might not pump up just because it's a crazy level. I absolutely don't think that's the case. And actually, if we move on to the title, shout out to everyone tuning in today. Thank you very much for shooting up the likes already. Really appreciate that. If Bitcoin breaks 50K, you need to see this, because here's the thing. And this is my favorite part about my analysis. So you guys tuning in now already, you're getting the key part of the analysis now. The thing that really excites me, ladies and gents, right here is that Bitcoin was in a 31-day overall consolidation. It was in a 31-day pattern of doing something other than setting a new all-time high, right? 31 days, right? And this is amazing to me because after this 31-day period of consolidation, Bitcoin directly entered another one for 8 days. We're in this pattern for 8 days so far of, I mean, I guess we are technically setting all-time highs, but we're not really rallying higher, are we? It's just, it's happening slowly. And so this still, in my books, is not a very aggressive move. And so we've come out of, and you know, I know technically, someone's going to call me out for this. I know that technically this was not a consolidation pattern. A consolidation pattern looks something a little bit more like this, right? This is more like what consolidation looks like. What we had over here was something that looks a little bit like that, right? So it's not, or more accurately, probably something that looks a little bit like that. So this is not consolidation, but it's something where the market isn't trending higher. In this case, if you really want to dive into technicals, it's a pullback. That's all it is. Bitcoin pulled back and then it traded upwards, but it only broke the high after 31 days, the all-time high. And so we weren't breaking all-time highs for 31 days. We were doing something else. We were in a pullback and then a subsequent rally upwards for 31 days. And now Bitcoin is again in another similarly boring pattern where we're not having blue sky breakouts every day. You see, the thing you need to understand, ladies and gents, in this video, in this live stream, shout out to everyone tuning in once again. Please smash up the likes because I'm about to blow your mind. Is that the thing you need to bear in mind in a market like this is that normal should, broadly speaking, look like this. This is what normal looks like in an exponential bull market. And if we're not doing this, then we're just preparing to do this. Right? If we're not doing this, then we're just doing something. We're just doing something which is in between doing this. Right? And so let me make that a little bit more clearly. Let me say that a little bit clearly again. When we're in an exponential bullish market, the normal price action is straight upwards like a rocket ship. Blue sky breakouts every single day, new all-time highs, euphoria, extreme joy. This is what something close to normal might look like. And if we're not doing this, then we're probably just consolidating or pulling back or retracing before we do this again, right? That's what happens in a market like this. And it's not healthy. I'm always the first person to tell you this. In fact, it's bloody stupid and super dangerous. That's why we get minus 30% crashes inside of 2 days after these kind of rallies, right? That's exactly why it happens, because it's not safe and it's not sustainable, but that's normal in this market. And right now, we're not doing that because our angle of attack, our momentum going into this pump right now is not very strong. And so that indicates to me that we haven't started this phase yet. And this is where it gets really exciting, because if we haven't started this massive uptrend phase of, I know the gradient looks similar, but it would have been more accurate if I drew it something a little bit more like this, and then like this, and then like this again. Because we're not in this pattern yet, right, and we're doing something a little bit slower, this, to me, is an indication that we are going to have one of these patterns again. And where does this take us up to? Obviously, you guys know my next number. My next target is $60,000 because it's an easy round psychological resistance area. Hopefully we just blow straight through it. But that's what makes me think that we could have a straight rocket ship up, because we haven't had one yet. The last one we had was over here, and it was 8 days ago, and it was after we pulled back for 30 days. And usually, and this is the next thing, if you are a regular subscriber of this YouTube channel, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're just tuning in now, ladies and gents, please rewind the video, or I guess it's this way, rewind the video, because you're missing out on some crucial information. Also, smash up the likes as we come in, because the next thing I'm about to say is all about timeframes and volatility. You see, we weren't particularly volatile to the upside for a period of 30 days, right? Within this consolidation pattern, within, you know, whatever. Like I said, I'm calling it consolidation, doesn't matter what it is. We weren't in a massive uptrend during this time, and we resumed it at this point, and then we immediately entered, again, it's not consolidation, I'm just going to call it consolidation because I don't know a better word. If you have a better word, drop it in the comments. We immediately entered a more boring market straight after this pump. And that's not normal. Normally, when we re-enter a high period of volatility like this, we will keep pumping very quickly. We will only have short consolidation patterns and then we'll pump up again. We will not have long consolidation patterns like what we're in right now, usually, and that is an indication that it should actually be quite short. These things, they shouldn't go on for too long, and that could mean we're going to pump up higher. And what are the chances we pump up now? I think they're quite high because we keep on pushing the highs. And so the point I'm making here is that because we've re-entered an area of high volatility, in my opinion, I think that this boring price action is going to come to an end relatively soon, and we're going to have that massive blue sky breakout again. I think that really does make a lot of sense to me. The last time this happened, once again, I got to point this out to you because I know that this is actually, this rising wedge pattern, it is actually a rising channel. Someone corrected me and said it's a channel. Yes, technically it is a rising channel, my bad. I call it rising wedge. It's just a simple way to call it. The last time that we saw one of these with Bitcoin, by the way, it was right over here. And actually, FORFLIES traded that because it was obvious, and I've seen this happen a million times. But right here, there was another classic rising channel in the market. And really, all it represented was the same thing I just said to you today, earlier on in this live stream, where the market was pumping up. People were very excited, kept on pushing highs. The bulls kept on taking more control. The bears kept on losing control because the highs were getting higher and the lows were getting higher. And that, in my opinion, made it so that the bulls could eventually have all of that pressure burst to the upside. And my God, did it burst to the upside. Look at this. It was just an absolutely beautiful rally up. And to put it into perspective, this pattern lasted 14 days and Bitcoin went up by only 11% in 14 days. From low to high, it lasted 14 days. And as soon as we pumped out of this pattern, within 2 days, Bitcoin pumped up by 17%. So the strength in the market really shifted. The momentum and the intensity in the market really changed very suddenly. I can't click. Very suddenly, because the bulls were gaining strength against the bears were losing strength, and eventually that pressure has to give, and the bulls have to end up pushing the price higher just because there's a lot of pressure pushing it in that direction. So it's like a grenade exploding. It just absolutely explodes to the upside, and it happens at a crucial resistance area, $14,000. We test it over here, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, we break out. So we test it 3 times, number 4 we break out. Each time we test higher and higher levels, and this sounds very similar to where we're in right now. We've tested 50k once, tested it twice, tested it 3 times now, and I think that number 4 could be the time, because really, quite simply, this resistance level is getting weaker the more we test it, and I think that that makes the case quite strong that Bitcoin should be able to end up rising quite nicely moving forward, because it's got the same rising channel, it's got the same signs in the market. And the next thing I want to explain is why this isn't a bearish pattern, in my opinion. There's a good example. Look, it wasn't bearish before. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's not bearish, but the reason that people actually think that Bitcoin is bearish when it forms these kind of patterns is that, again, I use the analogy of a torpedo, of a bomb, because it's simple. A bomb is going up, and it's going up with a lot of momentum in the sky, and then it's more like a torpedo, makes more sense for this analogy. And then it gradually starts losing momentum and just absolutely crashes to the ground. And so what we're looking at over here is the phase when the torpedo is gaining altitude, right? So this is this phase. And what we're looking at over here is this phase right here, where it's now losing momentum, still gaining altitude, mind you, it's still rising, but it's rising slowly because it's losing momentum, and then eventually that momentum shifts to the downside, and it has an absolutely catastrophic waterfall sell-off. This is why people typically consider rising channel patterns to be bearish. However, for crypto, it tends to mean something different. It tends to mean something different, and the reason I'm seeing this, Julian, hang on there, try a different device. Someone in the comments can't access the live stream. I would give you advice if you can't access the live stream right now, but you can't access the live stream, so you wouldn't hear me. In future, if this ever happens to you, just try a different device or a different browser. If you're using a VPN, turn it off, different things like that. Anything that might interfere with your connection. Usually in crypto, it might mean something different, and we've seen this happening a lot where it does actually mean something different. Look, I've spotted another one here just while I'm recording the video. Look, another typical rising channel pattern, which we pump straight out of. The reason these tend to help the market so much is because, in my opinion, how the market perceives this pattern is the following. We're trending up very quickly, and now the trend should be coiling up. It should be getting ready to extend upwards again. It should be pulling back. It should be doing something boring. It should be doing something that's not exciting, but instead, the market just cannot put a lid on all of the excitement. The market cannot put a lid on all of the excitement in the space, and so it slowly climbs higher, even when it should be dropping lower. This is to say that when the market should be retracing and it should be doing something a little bit more boring, it actually ends up just kind of slowly trading higher because there's so much bullish energy in the market. And again, we look at analogies of pressure. There's a lot of pressure in the market. It needs to burst. It needs to go somewhere. That means the pressure is really pushing the market up, and that's why we tend to see these pumps with these kind of patterns. It's not just with Bitcoin. We've seen a lot of examples where this has happened. And by the way, there are examples where it doesn't work as well. We've seen a lot of examples where this does work with Bitcoin. It also works with Ethereum very well. If you've been watching this channel for a short while, you will know very well that we were talking about this rising wedge very, very much on this YouTube channel. So shout out to all of the subscribers who saw that content and were prepared for it, because it was super obvious. Oh my, that's so cool. I love the sounds. It was super obvious in the moment, and it's also super obvious in hindsight. Where if I take a naked chart for you and demonstrate this for you with a little bit more simplicity, Ethereum ended up forming this rising wedge, looking something a little bit like this, where it was already in a very nice uptrend, and then it started coiling upwards, which is, again, we look at that torpedo analogy. This is where the torpedo is losing momentum, but actually, it's just that the market in this crypto case was so excited that the price couldn't coil downward, it couldn't coil sideways, it just went higher until eventually the lid was taken off and the whole thing exploded upwards. This happened to Ethereum just earlier this month. So we have very, very recent evidence of this happening in the very in this very market, but in a different asset, in a parallel asset. So I think that's very powerful. That's a very, very powerful sign in my opinion. So Ethereum doing exactly the same thing right here. I'm really, really liking this, and it's a classic characteristic of the market in my opinion, and that to me makes it very exciting. That to me makes a very convincing argument for the fact that Ethereum here and the rest of the market, including Bitcoin, could probably end up doing the same thing right now. This is not the only time we've seen it happening on Ethereum as well. Look, there's another one right here. I'm not going to zoom in and show it to you because I think you understand the point right now. However, there's definitely a lot of confluence around this pattern in the market right now, really indicating that the market does end up pumping out of these patterns. Very recent, very accurate, very reliable. If you were a member of the FORFLIES VIP channel, then you would have seen that was my Ferrari. I bloody hope not. That would mean someone stole my Ferrari. The Lambo sound behind me or whatever it was. If you were inside the VIP channel, you would have seen exactly all the analysis that I was carrying out on the market, and also the recent big trades that I made. I recently traded a very, very nice move on Bitcoin. Just trading this pump upwards, closed something like a 50% profit at most, and then got stopped out on the rest of it at around 30% profit, 25%, something like that. So pretty good trade all in all. Very, very happy with it. VIPs have seen all the details on how I was trading it, and the steps to join are on screen right now. If this analysis sounded interesting to you, if you want more of it, if you want to see how I trade based off this analysis and gain access to everything that goes on behind the scenes with our FORFLIES team, because it's not just me, my god, we keep on growing it, it's really exciting, then the steps to join are on screen right now. Shout out to all of you guys tuning into the live stream today. We're up to 1,000 viewers. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I will start going through your questions soon. However, I do still have some more core analysis to go through for just a minute. So I'm going to go through that before I get to your questions. VIP has been blowing up, nearly at 1,000 members now, which is bloody insane. Really wouldn't have expected that we would hit numbers like that. Phil in the comments, everyone go like and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm to support FORFLIES. Thank you very much. Any support, greatly appreciated. You know, it is just a click to you, and it is just a tap on the subscribe button to you, but the YouTube algorithm, it really does help the channel when you do little things like that, and that's very useful for me. So it's very useful for me, so anything you can do like that is always greatly appreciated. Let's see what we've got here. So yeah, a little bit I want to talk to you about with the Ichimoku, the same points as a worst case scenario for me to outline to you as well. Yes, I should do that. That would be the responsible thing to do. So let's move back to the analysis. And by the way, just a quick interjection. I bought water today, but I didn't realize that it was sparkling water. And I don't drink sparkling water, so this is disgusting for me. But I guess that means I'm wealthy now, right? It's absolutely disgusting. I don't know why people drink this. Unless you're mixing it with alcohol, but then you would have soda, right? Like, I don't get it. But yeah, right here, the worst case scenario I want to outline for you with Bitcoin lies on this chart, where I'm seeing Bitcoin potentially as a worst case. Let's draw this parallel channel again. Potentially as a worst case, falling out of this parallel channel, which would be the normal thing to do, to be honest. Falling out of this parallel channel and falling down into this support area. This $42,000 support area, in my opinion, is the strongest support that Bitcoin has right now. Bitcoin at the moment is quite high above this support level. Let's actually measure it. If we drop down to the support level, it'll be a further 15% drop. So that is a pretty substantial drop in my opinion. But it was the previous all-time high, and the reason that it was a very important all-time high in my opinion is that after we set this all-time high, we didn't break it again for a month. And so this makes it a very historically important level for the chart. And so if we do fall below this wedge, I would expect that if we don't find support at 47 as well, we're going to come all the way back down to $41,000 to $42,000. I think we're going to fall somewhere between 41 to 42 and then hopefully get a bounce. I think that the chances we get a bounce are very high. I don't think that the market has a lot of weakness in it right now, and I think that the market should be able to recover very easily if we get a drop like that. If we don't, then I will turn quite bearish and worried. We do have a lot of support below us, which is good. However, this would mean if we fell below 42, it would mean that we have failed some very significant support levels. And if we fail significant support levels, then I don't necessarily think that weaker support levels will support the market higher. So this I would see as the final defense line for Bitcoin. If we drop below this, we do have support and Bitcoin could still bounce. However, I don't think that's likely, and I think we might end up going a lot lower. So did I do my calculation correctly? 15%? Yeah, I did. So hopefully we don't drop down here. However, if we do, I think we'll find support. And that's the worst case that I see for Bitcoin. The best case that I see is, like I said earlier on in the video, so shout out to you guys who tuned in earlier on. I did see a comment mentioning that you only got the notification after the live stream started. Super typical. YouTube can't handle this stuff properly. So if you are in our free Telegram channel, which you can access using the link in the description, the first link in the description will take you to our free Telegram channel. That will tell you, over there we will notify you when our videos are going live, and you won't have to miss them. But right now I think that's very, very significant, and the best case that I am seeing for Bitcoin right now is that we haven't really had this high volatility, big price jump action lately, and that makes me think that we are yet to get it. So if we haven't had it yet, I think it's coming. And if it's coming and we're, just teetering on the edge of breaking the $50,000 resistance area right now, I think that means as soon as we do convincingly break it, we rise a couple percentage points above it, I think that means Bitcoin should have a very easy time rising up to a level like $60,000. The previous level, the previous jump, just to put it into perspective again, took us up by how much? $8,700. And so, rising up by 8,700 here, would put us super close to 60,000, as a potential target. So I think 60K makes a lot of sense. And I think that this would happen very quickly if we ended up breaking 50K, simply because we haven't had that big volatility yet. Look, this is normal in a market like what we're in right now, and we haven't had that. And so I think it's coming. That's the best case I see. What have we got with Ethereum? So same rising wedges on Ethereum. Not particularly interesting, to be honest. Actually, let's just stick to Bitcoin for a minute, because I want to show you some of the Ichimoku clouds and stuff like that. On the 1 hour, we do have some nice support, which is worth highlighting to you. So let's show you that. Bam, right there. We do have some nice Ichimoku support right over here. We found some nice bounces going back earlier this month, just actually about a week ago. And then, nearly about 2 weeks ago now as well. Found some nice support on the 1 hour. It's been very accurate so far in the month of February. And we do have our final bit of support over here. However, this cloud is now turning into resistance. So the next thing which is worth mentioning to you is that I think Bitcoin's window of opportunity to do something spectacular is closing. I think that Bitcoin's chances of doing something spectacular is closing. If Bitcoin doesn't do something big over the next 24 hours, I think that there will be a higher chance of dropping down. We're seeing that with the Ichimoku cloud. It's a very good way of visualizing where we're at right now, because this cloud is closing up. It already nearly closed up earlier today, and it is about to turn into resistance. So if Bitcoin isn't able to make good use of the support that it has right now and then pump up above 50K, I don't think it's going to do very well. If you don't know what the Ichimoku cloud is, then please type this into YouTube in a new tab and watch my tutorial, my explanation video on how to use this indicator, how to gain access to it, what it means, and different things like that. The video I've made explaining this indicator is part of our wider FORFLIES Academy courses, and VIP members, depending on which plan they take, will gain access to this course for free. We've had amazing successes with it. It's probably the thing that I'm most proud of, believe it or not, more than VIP. I think that the course is even better, and that's just my own opinion, because I really like courses. I think VIP is absolutely great. It has really, really cool content in there. Obviously, you get to see me trading in real time, so if you think that's valuable, then you've got it every single day. However, a course is very cool because it teaches you the theory of everything I do and know. And so you get to learn what I do, how I do it inside of our course. And then you get to watch me apply that very same knowledge and strategies, those same strategies as well. Everything that I've taught in the course, you get to watch me apply inside of the VIP group. And I also tell you how I'm navigating my own psychological pitfalls as well, because I'm not a genius, I'm not perfect, and I have the same issues that you run into. So I tell you how I'm navigating them, and usually I think I tend to navigate them fairly well. So if you do want to join into the group and gain access to our content, and the steps are on screen right now for you to go through. But right here, Ichimoku cloud showing us that some of our support is closing up, and if we go back to the rising wedge right now, I think that this also paints a slightly concerning picture, because when I mentioned that the pressure is kind of compressing and it's getting ready for Bitcoin to blow up, look, there's not much space for Bitcoin to trade now unless it just hits this ceiling at 50K. And you know, if it's not able to break the ceiling at 50k, then it has to dump down. And because there's so much riding on the market right now, I think that it would dump down quite significantly if we did drop. And so that has me worried. If Bitcoin doesn't make a move very soon, and I mean like literally by tomorrow, if it doesn't make a move kind of by tomorrow, I don't think that we're going to end up pumping up massively. I do think that we're going to get quite a significant and scary rejection. That would actually worry me a little bit. So that's what I'm seeing with Bitcoin right now. And, you know, Ethereum, it hasn't been able to do much because Bitcoin hasn't been doing much, surprisingly. I thought that Ethereum would actually do very, very well in a situation like this, but it's facing a lot of resistance right now. The thing to keep in mind, though, is I think that Ethereum is kind of that sleeping giant. I saw a really funny joke about it on Twitter where someone compared Ethereum to a guy with erectile dysfunction, and I completely agree. It really is like it's showtime. Everyone's got its eyes on Ethereum. Everyone's got their eyes on Ethereum right now. Everyone's invested in it. Everyone wants it to pump up. And it is, don't get me wrong, I mean, it's doubled in like a month, so that's pretty good. But it's not doing as well as a lot of us have expected it to. And I think let's just put it down to performance anxiety. I think that it is. I think that it's going to do very, very well. I think that it could just be in some sort of a bull flag pattern right now before it does end up pumping higher. I think that would make a lot of sense. There's not much analysis I can do on Ethereum right now, unfortunately. It is just kind of ping-ponging sideways and sometimes having very significant dumps and recoveries, but broadly speaking, there's not a whole lot that I'm seeing with Ethereum at the moment. If we do end up rising back above, say, 1850, that's where I think that Ethereum could end up flying. If we kind of rise above this pink line here around 1850, that's where I think that Ethereum could end up, you know, doing quite well. And I think that a lot of that does hinge on what Bitcoin does. You know, if Bitcoin pumps up, then absolutely, I think that Ethereum is going to have a very easy time rising up as well. So that to me looks pretty clean, although unfortunately not so easy to analyze at the moment. EOS, final thing I want to show you before I go through your questions. Guys, if you haven't dropped your questions in the comments already, please do that right now by tagging me with an @FORFLIES like this. You've got me for as long as you want me today, actually. I've got nothing to do after this live stream, so I can go on for 2 hours, can push 3. Depends how fun this is for me. So if you've got any questions, tag me in the comment section just like that, and I will get to you. I want to show you something on EOS right now. EOS has had a massive chance to do something absolutely beautiful, and it's fucked it up. It's completely missed the opportunity. However, it doesn't mean that it won't use this opportunity. So right here, EOS ended up pumping up above some of the key resistance areas that it's had. This was a big point in the market where EOS ended up rallying higher. It's a big point where EOS had a massive correction and then set a new all-time high. And we've seen a lot of price interaction at this level, not only as resistance, but also as support. Look, all support around this area, resistance, resistance, support, resistance, resistance for the longest time, and right now question marks, because we haven't really done anything with this level yet. We have bounced off the bottom of this area, and we did bounce out, but we haven't had anything sustained yet. I think that this general area between $4.76 and $4.13, if you believe that EOS is a good buy, if you believe that EOS has strong fundamentals, I think that this is a pretty good level to be scaling into EOS right now. Me personally, I'm not really doing it because I'm a little bit, I don't have a huge amount of faith in EOS. However, I do think that this absolutely has some potential to rocket on upwards, and if I like the patterns and I think that they start looking nicer, I will actually look to trade a long position on this, probably with low leverage, maybe like 2 times or something like that. I think that would make a lot of sense right now in this market. So I'm going to go to your questions now. Let's see what we've got in the comment section. Shout out to all of you tuning in. Please smash up the likes as we're coming in now. There's 1,000 of you in the live stream. Actually, it didn't go up over the past 5 minutes, which is fine, but please smash up the likes so that the algorithm can push it towards people who have already subscribed to the channel, who just don't get notifications. As usual, I do want to talk to you a little bit about Swissborg token. This is a token that I've really enjoyed holding. I've been holding it since around this level. Made a very, very nice ROI on Swissborg already. And the thing that excites me about this, the reason I don't see it as a shit coin, is that it has really, really healthy price action. Look, it pumps up and it just holds the level. And then it pumps up again and it holds the level, pumps up, holds the level, pumps up, holds the level. I really enjoy this about Swissborg, and it mimics what Tesla was doing before Tesla massively pumped up. So this really, really excites me. There's a link for you to sign up to the Swissborg app and buy tokens on their platform, which is a very good platform, by the way. It's a really, really cool app for quite a few reasons, and I'm going to talk to you about it in a video soon. But definitely liking what Swissborg is doing here. I was actually taking some profits on it. I don't really trade this, so this is more of a passive investment for me, and I went in too heavy, to be honest. So I'm just slowly scaling out at these areas. But I say scaling out, that's absolutely not my intention. I still think it's going to go very, very high. However, I've now made a 3 times return, so I'm going to take some profits here anyway. I think that it's moving very, very nicely, though. It just looks like a classic setup before it ends up pumping higher again. The thing that I want to keep in mind right here is that the previous sideways trading range for Swissborg lasted 32 days, then it lasted a day and a half, then it lasted 4 days, and currently it's lasted 13 days. So a month, day and a half, 4 days, 2 weeks. I don't know how much longer this one is going to go, and I also don't know if it's going to pump up. But if it does pump up, I don't know how much longer this one is going to go on for. However, 1.5 days, 4 days, 14 days, I don't think it can go on for much longer. I do think that the next pump could be just around the corner. This is, however, contingent on when there is some news. And actually, I've met up with the guys behind Swissborg just recently, actually. I don't know, like 3 days ago. Yeah, pretty recently, actually. I recorded a documentary thing with them, which you guys are going to love. Just wait until it comes out. And they mentioned that they're specifically withholding on putting out new products, or just kind of staying a little bit silent for a little bit, you know, until about March. So I think that another big pump could be, because this huge pump, by the way, this happened because of one, if I'm not mistaken, just one news release. And so there's another hopefully similar one coming. I can't tell you too much, unfortunately, but there's another hopefully similar one coming relatively soon. And I think that's happening towards the end of this month or March. So it looks like a really good time to be accumulating right now. Like I said, I'm offloading just a little bit. I'm not set in total. I've only sold like 3% of what I have, so just a little bit. However, I am offloading just a bit because I have now made a 3 times return on my timed entry level here. But I absolutely think it could be ready for another leg up. And again, the beautiful thing about Swissborg is that it doesn't really retrace down much. You know, you don't get massive crashes on this chart. They have happened, but a long time ago. The market has really matured since then. Look, the last time, I mean, this is just ICO, so this is bullshit. But I think the last time it really happened was around over here. And this was significant, but it hasn't happened in this more matured state at the moment, and that to me is very, very exciting. The ticker symbol is CHSB, and if you want to buy it, the best place to buy it is on their platform, and there is a link in the description which will give you and me a reward. And I think our rewards are the same if you use the link. So it's something like, if you sign up and you deposit, you get like €5 and I get €5, something like that. So it's nothing big, but it's coffee, you know, so it's cool. My god, I hate sparkling water. I don't get it. I really don't. But yeah, use the link in the description. It helps out. They'll love me for it too. I'm gonna start going through your questions. Jerome, thank you for that question. I don't think we get that one often. How are you today? I'm good, man. I've had some stuff to deal with. Nothing bad, nothing serious, but it's now dealt with, and I feel really, really good about that. And that's why I haven't made a video or anything recently. So we're back on it today. I'm excited. So are you guys. Thank you all for liking the video. Up to nearly 500 likes on this live stream. If you've learned anything, if you found it useful or entertaining in any way, then please smash up the likes as well. Alright. As usual, guys, my promise to you is I'm going to go through absolutely every single question, and when we have something big, I will also blow up my camera and explain it in a nice little explainer segment. So, what do I think about New Cypher? No thoughts. Can I talk about Bitcoin dominance and alt season? Yes. Let's look at Bitcoin dominance. Give me a second to find the chart for Bitcoin dominance. Bam, right here. So Bitcoin dominance right now at 61.4%. Let's look at it over the past 3 months. It has only been on the uptrend. Nice. So it's been on. Here's the thing, guys. Bitcoin dominance has been on an up rally for a very long time. It's at its highest. I'm sorry, this is not dominance. Yeah. Where's dominance? Yeah, that didn't look right. Is it loading? Shall I just pull it up on TradingView? Let me just pull it up on TradingView. I'm not going to wait for this. Dominance. Bitcoin dominance. There we go. Bam. It's on a downtrend. So, yes, it's a close number, 62%. So this big drop happened when Bitcoin rallied up in 2017. And previously, Bitcoin was the only cryptocurrency, the only main one. And now there are a lot. So I don't think Bitcoin will ever recover this dip. However, it hit a similar high to 2019 just a few weeks ago. And now it's a little bit lower. I don't want to do technical analysis on this chart because I think that's a little bit stupid. However, I do think that Bitcoin probably has some more dominance to lose. The thing is, we're in a bullish market, right? And here's where I'm going to blow up the camera. We're in a bullish market, and that means people are speculating. That means people are excited and really, really happy with the market. And when that's the case, people will tend to make money in the one core asset, in the one main asset. And then with that money, they're going to take part of it and put it into something a little bit riskier. And that's where Bitcoin dominance starts to go down. Because you've got people who are taking money out of their Bitcoin pot and putting it into something else. And so, for those of you who don't know what Bitcoin dominance means, it means how much of the money in the market is in Bitcoin. That's what it means on a practical level. Technically, it's something a little bit different. It's how much of the market cap of crypto is taken up by Bitcoin. However, if you don't know what market cap means, then I can't be bothered to explain that. So dominance just means how big Bitcoin is compared to the rest of the crypto market. And I think that in a bull market, people become more speculative, more risky. They become more comfortable with taking on risk in a bull market. And that, to me, is an indication of people potentially taking their money from Bitcoin and moving it out into different assets. And we see this happening all the time. One of the easiest examples to give you is the stock market. The S&P 500, for example, performs really, really well. It rallies up to all-time highs, and so people are making money in the safe market, and then they take their money and they put it into riskier assets that are in similar markets. So, for example, Boeing goes up first. Sorry, S&P 500 goes up first, and then people take that money from the S&P 500 and they put it in Boeing stock, and Boeing stock is what blows up. This is a classic characteristic that we see all the time when the market ends up pumping up very nicely. The main market ends up pumping up very nicely, makes everybody very optimistic, so everybody goes ahead and rushes to put their money into different markets because they want to speculate and make more money. And that, for Bitcoin, will mean that its dominance will probably drop lower. And I can prove this to you. When the market is optimistic, i.e., when the market is trending higher, that is where we tend to see Bitcoin dominance going down. And when the Bitcoin market trends down, that's when we tend to see the Bitcoin dominance go up. Because when the market is going down, nobody wants to speculate and take risk on even riskier coins. And so people take their money out of their shit coins and they move them back into Bitcoin, and that's where the dominance spikes up. So let me translate this chart for you really quickly, and I'll prove for you why this is important. And thank you for your very good question, by the way, Mambo for Life, because being aware of these things can quite easily allow you to position yourself for very, very nice profits. So let me put this on the log scale if I can. Is there a way for me to... Nope, can't put this on the logarithmic scale. That's annoying. Anyway, that's fine. So, look, what we have over here is Bitcoin trading up in an uptrend pretty much since the beginning of the chart. Bitcoin in an uptrend, trending up, and the dominance going down while Bitcoin is trending up. However, when Bitcoin enters its bear market and then ends its bear market, actually up until a little bit later, let's keep the line right here. Bitcoin ends its bear market right here. During this rally, Bitcoin drops from 20,000 down to 3,100, drops by a lot. Look at how the dominance rises back up. Because when Bitcoin is trending down, people are less optimistic, they are more pessimistic, and as a result of that pessimism, they don't want to speculate on the altcoin market, so money flows back into Bitcoin. However, things start getting exciting again recently, right? And let's take a look at how that fares for the Bitcoin. In fact, we can even we can see it quite obviously right now, actually. Bitcoin rising up, and pretty much, yeah, kind of after this point, this is where Bitcoin bottomed out at $10,000 right here. It went up to 12,000, traded sideways down to 10K. This is September 2020, and then it triggered the big rally upwards. And it was at this point that dominance started shooting up again. So people are optimistic, and that's why people are originally, people buy a bunch of Bitcoin because they want to ride the rally. And then when the rally looks like it's really, really good and everyone's really, really happy, that's when money starts moving out of Bitcoin, which started happening just a few weeks ago. And money starts moving out of Bitcoin, even while Bitcoin is trending up, and it enters the altcoin market. So at first, I'm sorry, I should have made that more clear. At first, people will put their money in Bitcoin as the market goes up, and the dominance will rise. And that's because everyone wants to ride the train on Bitcoin. But then, once we start taking this pump for granted, once we start expecting an uptrend, that's when greed starts setting in, right? This is very obvious. We start taking this for granted. We've now been in a state of constant bull run for many months. It's the norm. It's normal. It's expected. We wake up, the sun is shining every single day. It's like the 2 months of sun in the UK, or even the 2 weeks of sunshine in the UK. We just start expecting it and taking it for granted. And that's where greed starts setting in. And that's why people start distributing their Bitcoins into the altcoin market. And that's exactly what we've seen, even while the market, broadly speaking, has been trending up. The dominance has continued to drop now, because now these pumps for Bitcoin seem obvious. They do not seem novel or exciting anymore. And as a result of that, people are starting to move their money into the altcoin market. So that's a very, very long-winded answer to your question to talk about Bitcoin dominance and alt season. But in short, I think Bitcoin dominance will keep going down, and I think alts will keep going up. If they're good alts. If they're good, I think they'll keep going up. Have I heard of pi? Yes. 3.14, right? Or is that the wrong pi? I really need to stop drinking this. This is so hard to drink. I don't want to check ICX today. Do I have any long trades now? No, I'm not in a trade at the moment. Can I look at XLM? At the moment, no, I don't trade it on leverage, so it's not something I'm interested in. Chainlink, yeah, Chainlink is one of the coins that I trade on leverage, so I'll talk about that for a minute. Link, oh wow, 31 to bam. All right, nice. There you go, there you go. So yeah, once again, if you've been a subscriber of the channel, we were talking about this rising wedge a lot. This is the same thing I was talking about at the beginning of the live stream. The market's really making very, very good use out of these rising wedges and pumping out of them beautifully. So Chainlink has done exactly that. It ended up forming this rising channel, setting higher lows and higher highs, and this was a sign of pressure compressing to the upside, and eventually it bursts up and we get a big, big rally up. And again, I'm going to put this in perspective for you the same way I did for Bitcoin. Over the period of 28 days, Chainlink rose by only 50%, and then Chainlink, within the period of a day and a half, rose up by 26%. So it took Chainlink 1.5 days to do half of what it took Chainlink to do in a month. So that really shows you how the strength shifts in an uptrend when we get this bullish momentum coming into fruition and pushing the market up. And you know, the fact that people are speculating on altcoins like this right now, and the fact that altcoins are doing so well, to me makes the case quite convincing that Bitcoin should end up pumping up quite soon again, because the market is very optimistic, very healthy. It's a playground. It's a fun time to be in the market right now, and we will keep seeing that it's a fun time to be in the market until it eventually does crash. There are ways to tell when the market will reverse and crash and see a big crash and a big bear market that might last a few years, you know, like we already saw. There are ways to tell when that's coming. I've covered it with you a lot on this channel, and we've got content on that inside of VIP, and very soon I'm going to be refreshing every single course we've done apart from the Trade Insane one because it's new. And I'm going to be including more content on how to specifically spot when a bull market ends. There's going to be a lot more. I actually have a full list of it, which my assistant has given me. We've sat down and ran through some ideas, and she has also gone through some stuff. So there's a lot that I want to cover in this new course update. And the best thing about it, for those of you in VIP, for those of you who are watching who've already purchased one of our courses, is that you're going to get those updates for free. My promise to you right at the beginning was, as we keep on upgrading what we do and improving what we do, which is every day, you are going to pay the same price for it. And in your case, you've already paid the price. So you don't need to pay anything extra. We're going to keep on updating the content. And those of you who've had access to our advanced course, you know, potentially with a free with your yearly membership, you would have gotten that course for free. It's a $2,700 course. You would have gotten it for free with your yearly membership. For example, you saw that I think it was November, we updated the course with, what was it, 8 new videos or 11 new videos? I think it was 8 new videos we updated the course with, completely free of charge. Amazing videos, super advanced theories, very, very cool videos. We updated that course completely free of charge. You don't have to pay a penny extra, but for new people, those prices will be raised, and we might not even include it with VIP memberships for free moving forward, because the value in those courses keep going up. So unless we raise prices, it doesn't reflect the value you're getting. So if you want to jump into the group before that happens, if you want to get in and play, pay the price now so that you don't have to pay a higher price later on. With currently, actually, VIP is on the lowest the biggest discount it's ever been on, effectively, because Bitcoin is trading very high. We've cut our prices very low. If you want to gain access to all that content, then you can do that by clicking on the first link in the description down below, then clicking on the @FORFLIES button, and then clicking on send message. And like I said, you know, the course is just one aspect where you learn the theory of what I'm doing, but VIP is where you get to watch me implementing all of that in real time in the market as well. So there's a lot of value in there. I got a comment message from somebody asking why I blocked comments during a live. I haven't blocked anyone during this live stream. So we do have a moderator. However, I haven't been notified that he blocked anyone either. If your comments are not going through, then that means you're getting caught in some spam filter or something. So that's something to keep in mind. But right there, if you do want to get into the group, you do want to gain access to the amazing content we have, nearly up to 1,000 members inside of VIP, absolutely killing it, so cool to see, then the steps to join are on screen right now. I'm going to go through some more questions now. Seb asking me, why do we access that? That's a question for you and God, my friend. FORFLIES bought a lot of Bitcoin at 35,900. I don't know what that is in US dollar, bro, because this person quoted me a GBP price. Bottom line, I think Bitcoin's going up. So, you know, I'm pretty happy to hold Bitcoin. I do have some holdings, and I might actually take some profits on them over here, because it's a good place to take profits. You know, I don't care if Bitcoin's going up to 60k. 50k is a bloody good place to sell. That's a really, really good place to sell. So put it this way, if you were holding Bitcoin for over a year and you visualize what it would be like to be at 50k, would you think, oh, that's a cool idea to sell a little bit of Bitcoin? Yes or no? 1 year ago. Be honest with yourself. Like, really, really pause the video, meditate, be honest with yourself. Would you have thought that 50k USD was a good price to sell Bitcoin 1 year ago? And I think most of you would say yes. You know, so I quite like the idea of uploading some Bitcoin here. However, I absolutely think it's going to keep on going up. And by the way, if you're asking questions like that, it probably means that you missed the beginning of the live stream. So please just go back and rewind that. FORFLIES, what was the price at the very bottom of your rising wedge on Bitcoin? So the bottom of the support level that I see for Bitcoin's rising wedge right now, this rising channel is where is it? Around 47,300. However, I would actually use this box because I think this box would be a little bit more accurate. It kind of falls. Bitcoin, in order to fall down to this box, it would need to fall below the channel. And I really think that if Bitcoin falls below kind of 47, 46,000, I think it's going to go all the way back down to 42, 41,000. I think it's going to be a big drop, at least like $5,000 drop, I think, if we fall below, which is more than 10%. So I would actually be a little bit worried if we fell down that low. No comments on XLM. FORFLIES, at what level of confirmed upward breakthrough for Bitcoin in 24 hours are you confident against scary bear run? Okay, that's a very badly worded question, but let me translate that for everyone who didn't understand. So this person's asking me, and no offense to you, by the way, it's just other people. I need to say it again. This person is asking me, at what price level will I have faith that Bitcoin will not fake out again? Bitcoin pumped up above this level and then it faked out and went back down. This person is asking me, how high should Bitcoin go in order for me to feel confident? I'm going to cheat because my answer isn't actually a price level. I could say, look, Bitcoin only went up above the resistance level by 1.2%, 1.1%. So if it goes up by 3%, then I would have confidence. That's usually the standard answer, which is roughly 51.5k. No, it's exactly 51.5k. So if we rise up by about 3%, then I think we're in a real bull run. And that is a good metric to go by. I wouldn't discount that. I think that's good. However, the main thing for me, and this is super important, is that it doesn't really matter. Bitcoin could go $1 above 50,000 now, and I would be very bullish. And the reason for that is we've already gotten rejected above 50k. So if, you know, in a world where there was still enough supply in the market to where Bitcoin could dump after doing something like that, I think that supply should have already been exhausted. This is really important. I think that on this wick, that supply should have already been exhausted. And so the next time, if we even get close to this level, I think we're going to have a pretty nice confirmed rally going up. We don't need to hit any price targets for me to have faith in this trend anymore, because we've already had a pullback. And if we have a pullback and then we target this level again, I don't think that there's going to be any stopping the market. I think it's going to absolutely rocket ship up because it's going to clear a big psychological resistance area. And I just keep on thinking about how much potential there is in this market to just absolutely blow up if that happens. I think that would be very exciting. Hey Sammy, can you please tell us about the UK and the New York and Tokyo markets and how they can affect crypto when they open every day? Adam, the only thing that can happen, in my opinion, when new markets open, different time zones, New York, London, Tokyo, is we might get extreme volatility around certain big hourly closes. And so at midnight UK time, for example, that's like 8 hours behind China, right? So Beijing, 8 hours behind China, behind Beijing. That's when, you know, Beijing opens, for example, or different countries and cities around that area of the world. And that's where we might see some big volatility. But it's not so much down to people waking up. It could be down to algorithms. It could be down to any number of things. That means that there is a big amount of volatility when major world leading financial hubs like this wake up. There can just be a big spike in volatility. But broadly speaking, Adam, I think if you're reading into that, then you're probably reading a little bit too deep. Because truthfully, there is not much to say about, in my opinion, about when a certain city in the world opens trading. It's just not very significant. It's just not. FORFLIES, shall I wait for a dip to invest in Bitcoin? I cannot tell you that, Abdul Karim. Unfortunately, I'm not a financial advisor. When ETH 2.0 comes out, miners won't be allowed to mine ETH. So will they mine EOS? I don't know about that. That's not a question for me. Can I have a look at IOTA? Not today, as I can't trade it on leverage. I only analyze the coins that I can trade on leverage, because I'm only a margin trader, with the exception of Swissborg. I feel EOS doesn't have the hype behind it. Me too. It's the only reason I wouldn't long it right now. FORFLIES, is it a good moment to sell Bitcoin and invest it in a mining graphic card? Marietta, you would be selling profits in order to buy passive income. And that is always a very sexy idea to me. However, I don't think that mining sounds very interesting personally. I love the idea of making a bunch of money and then buying passive income with it, i.e. buying properties, buying dividend paying stocks, whatever. That to me sounds really exciting. However, yeah, I'm not so sure about mining. It is going well right now because the prices are so high, but it's not something that's particularly interesting to me. So again, I'm the wrong person for that, unfortunately. Oh, here, this looks like a good question. FORFLIES, I listened to Vitalik. Vitalik is the person who created Ethereum. I listened to Vitalik. Let's blow up my, why am I so small? I'm not even showing you the chart. I listened to Vitalik yesterday. He says he believes that the biggest risk for DeFi, decentralized finance, is bugs to steal funds or tokens in the codes of projects, usually 2 years after project been up and running. Okay, so that's not a question. There's nothing for me to say about that. Yeah, sure. It could be a risk. I don't know. It's that's a very technical thing, and that's not for me to comment on. By the way, I'm loving this webcam. It's a huge improvement over what we used to have. Just to show you what we used to have, by the way. Let me show you the difference real quick. This is so cool. If you're dizzy, look away. But I just want to show you. Bam. This is what we used to work with. I'm not joking. This. Hang on. This is what we have now, and this is what we used to work with. So I'm really, really happy with the new equipment that we've got in the office. Very cool. Just loving this. It's just little upgrades. This is what I believe in. You guys know it already. Those of you who've spoken to me on the phone or whatever, you'll know very well that the only thing I aim for every single day is a 1% improvement on what I already do every day. What about silver? It plays a big role in manufacturing, computer, and tech. Again, I can't really trade that, so I don't look at it. I signed up to your link on Binance the other day. Gustavo, I don't have a link on Binance, so it wasn't mine. Sparkling water makes you fart. Yeah, I guess so. I haven't drank enough to know that. FORFLIES, so are you implying that the bull run for these altcoins are over? No, Julian, I actually said very much the opposite. I think that they're going to keep happening. FORFLIES, weekly chart has a bearish divergence. Doesn't matter. I don't care about bearish divergences. And then daily and 4-hour charts on shorter time frame. If they play out, what targets are we looking at? Look, I don't think that bearish divergences are scary or dangerous in these markets. They happen all the bloody time. And I'm not even going to find it on this video, but I would urge you to find 10 bearish divergences and see how well they played out. And you'll probably see that 8 or 9 of them failed. If they do break down, then I think Bitcoin would have to find support on a more macro level. And that might mean $42,000. If 42 fails, I think that 30,000 is on the cards. I think that 35 roughly, 33 to 35 might be on the cards as well, this general area. If those levels fail, then I'm looking at 27 around over here. And if that fails, I'm looking at 24, and the final support I see for Bitcoin is 20. If we drop below 20, yeah, I'm concerned. But by the way, if we drop down to 20 now, that would be more than a 50% drop. So that's a crash. That's a major crash. What are my thoughts on bcash making a big bubble? It's fucking bcash. Of course it's gonna bubble. Who wants bcash? If you held altcoins for the last few years, you saw your value relative to Bitcoin just keep on dropping. Yeah, because you'd be an idiot. I'm sorry, I just gotta say it plain and simple. We were, by the way, I was very open. So this channel's been up for a long time. I've been doing crypto content for a long time. I was very open about it when I sold my altcoins. I told you guys publicly on this channel, I told VIP members and everyone very, very publicly way before that I sold all of my bitcoins when, sorry, all of my altcoins when? Let me show you where on this chart. Let me show you where I sold all of my altcoins. It was right around over here is when I sold all of my altcoins. And they've just kept on dropping and dropping and dropping. And yeah, now they're pumping up. Maybe to the level that they were at like 2 years ago or 3 or 4 years ago, right? They're still not making incredible recoveries. Relative to where they were before, yes, sure, it's cool. But if you were just holding Bitcoin, you would have made a lot more money. And this shouldn't come as a surprise, because a lot of these altcoins do not have genuine use cases. And so people only buy them when there is hype. And if there is no hype because the market is crashing, why the hell would somebody buy your shitty coin that tracks shipments on the blockchain? What the hell? Why would someone buy Vibration Coin or whatever the hell it is? Because it's like some music blockchain. Who gives a fuck? It's music. What are you talking about? And there's so many random altcoins that do nothing. And people only buy them because of hype. And yeah, I'm sorry to, not many of you have done it, so I'm allowed to be rude right now. If you were stupid enough to believe that, then you deserve to have lost money on those kind of things. Because, you know, it's just a very simple balance of supply and demand. People are not going to have a demand for these things unless there's hype in the market already. And so you have to default back down to something which has a little bit more, which has stronger fundamentals, stronger use cases, something which is a little bit more established. And obviously that is Bitcoin. And even then, Bitcoin itself is super risky. So you still don't really get that security with Bitcoin either. So you can see now how it's very, very flawed to think that way, in my opinion. Like, you know, with altcoins and things like that. Can Swissborg be used for exchange from US with VPN? I don't think their app works with a VPN, and I can't tell you to test that. However, I'm sure you can still buy their token on one of these exchanges. Maybe, yeah, Uniswap should be fine, right? Depends. Yeah, depends. I guess just give it a try. It's the only way you can find out. Bloody disgusting, right? I can't drink that anymore. I'm done. FORFLIES, how important would you say journaling and recording your trades are? Oh, Nathan. Nathan, if you're in VIP, you'll know how important it is. In the welcome video that I make for all VIP members, it's a really long, it's like a 30-minute welcome video. I outline fully, you know, how to best use the VIP experience and things like that. And one of the key things that I talk about is journaling trades. And here's what I'll say to you. In fact, I'll show it to you first. You know, the main thing, in my opinion, is that there is so much upward potential if you do this properly that it's not worth not trying, because it will only take you, for example, X amount of minutes, which might be like 10 minutes, but it could end up allowing you to spot where your mistakes are and where, oh, this isn't up to date. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Is it up to date? I don't think it's up to date. Anyway, let me show you this. Right here. Right here, we've got the spreadsheet of trades. I'm sorry, I should better so you can see a bit more now. We got the spreadsheet of trades that I've made inside of VIP, and see this big win streak that happened right here. Look, this is fucking crazy. This is absolutely insane. This is the max closed, so this is the maximum number that was closed for a trade. So for example, 100% here might actually mean that let's see, partially closed at break even. So it doesn't mean the whole trade was at 100% profit. This doesn't mean the whole trade was at 197 profit. It might have meant that, you know, 20% was closed at 40%, 20% was closed at 60%, you know, and so that's why I mentioned it's just the max closed. However, the point is, look at how many wins came after I journal trades, and the date that I journal trades intensely was on the 9th month in September. this is when I entered. Actually, I was already in a win streak at this point, but this is when I entered a really, really nice win streak. There might have been trades that went bad, but the thing that you need to keep in mind, and VIP members see me implementing this all the time, is that I can have trades that go wrong. I would trade the wrong direction in the market, but my risk management is so on point that I would move my stop loss to break even really quickly. And for example, a 17% profit in a stupid position that I shouldn't have taken, for example, will still close green just because I had my stop loss at break even really quick. And this is showing you the result of journaling trades for me. I did it in September and I entered a massive win streak. And this has happened every time in my life that I've entered massive win streaks before. This data isn't accurate, isn't 100% accurate, and it might not even be up to date. It's not up to date, and so I don't show this to you to advertise VIP, because you also shouldn't be using it to join VIP, because we're not financial advisors. However, it's very, very important to visualize what happens after I take certain actions. And one of the biggest actions I can take, in my experience right here, is journaling my trades. And look at how beautifully it's worked out. So entered a small loss streak over here with very controlled losses, minus 19, minus 21, minus 15, and then look, partially closed at plus 15, majority closed at minus 21, 50% closed at minus 11, 50% closed at minus 19. So these losses were not big. This number is wrong. See right there, I've already said this, this spreadsheet is not up to date. It's not done correctly. This was the maximum closed loss. Maximum percentage closed, minus 19%, right? So you can see how the spreadsheet isn't 100% accurate. However, the green is real. You know, if something is green, it was actually green, and you can see how the losses were very controlled, and then right back to those big wins, and then a small loss. Although I don't even remember this trade, so I don't know what happened there. But this is the result of journaling trades. So I hope that answers your question. I'm sure that's a pretty convincing answer, right? So if you do want to gain access to the content inside of VIP, then the steps to join VIP are on screen, where you can watch that tutorial that I've made on how I journal my trades, and you can gain access to all that very, very valuable content. Let me just resize the screen right there. So the steps to join VIP are on screen right now. That's how important journaling trades are, in my opinion. It's absolutely essential to my process. I've even hired somebody specifically to make sure I do it properly every single time now. It's critical, and you know, one of the big reasons for it, flexing aside now, is that it allows you to spot the things you've done well, and it allows you to double down on them, and it allows you to spot the things you didn't do well, or more importantly, things that led you to making bad trading decisions, and it allows you to do less of it, because now you know what's happening. So, and it could be absolutely benign. We have a full video dedicated to this inside of the VIP library, so please watch that. But it could be very, very benign random things like, did you take a shower today, or did you shave today, for example? And it only happens to be that on days where you shave and you nick yourself and you get a cut, that you make a bad trade. And that might be an indication to buy a good razor. I don't know, that was a really random one. But, you know, now you buy a new razor and you don't nick yourself anymore, so you're not pissed off and you're not in a tilted headspace and you don't feel like shit, and now you trade well. You know, you get to spot things like that using a trading journal. And that's a really stupid example, but it could turn out to be something a little bit more serious, where you find that every time you use one particular indicator, like the RSI bearish divergence, for example, you tend to mess up. You could see that in this market, every trade where you go short and you try to bet that the market will go down, you lose money. But you might see that you have, say, 50-60% of the trades where you go long make money, and 80% of the trades where you go short lose money. And that tells you it's time to do less short positions, more long positions. You get to see that data on a trading journal, in a trading journal. And the note that I want to end my answer to your question on, Nathan, very good question, is that we all spend so much time analyzing the markets, right? This video, this live stream has now become an hour 20 long. So thank you all for tuning in and liking the live stream already. Please do so if you haven't already. Please subscribe also if you haven't already. But we've now spent an hour 20 talking about this market and analyzing this market and breaking down key things happening here. But we don't even spend like 5 minutes doing that for our own psyche. And And that's where the problem lies, in my opinion. So we all want to analyze the markets, but we don't want to analyze ourselves. And I think that's where the real magic is. It's an absolutely essential part of the process, in my opinion. And it costs you so little as far as time and effort goes. And you've seen how the results have been so fruitful for me. Will I jump into gold or silver when I feel the bull run is over? 100% yes. Yes, I will. 100%. Thank you guys for hitting that like button. Sounds like you've definitely enjoyed that explanation of trading journals. So what I've done for VIP members is, and I see your messages about VIP, by the way, my assistant will get back to you very soon. What I've done for VIP members is I've made an entire video in the VIP library, which I talk about in the welcome video as well. I need to re-record that video, actually. I'm going to re-record it. Yeah, let me add that to my notes right now before I forget. Re-record trading journal. What I've done for VIP members is I've recorded a video on it and then also literally given them all the criteria that I record in my trading journal. And it does include really stupid stuff like just my physiological state. Did I sleep well? Did I use any drugs or alcohol the previous day, for example? Anything like that. And obviously, like I'm sober most of the time, right? I mean, as a trader, especially in a market like this, if you're not sober all the time, you're doing yourself a disservice, because it's very profitable to be sober at these times. But, you know, it's things like, it's not even about, it's like, did I sleep well, or was I hydrated yesterday? Things like that. These are important things to keep track of, in my opinion. And inside the VIP group, you'll see that video. I'll break down for you absolutely everything about it in more detail than I just went into right now. Everything is about more detail inside of VIP, but also making sure that you understand it. That's why we have so many tutorials and explanations in there geared towards the beginner as well. That's also why we bundle our course packages with VIP for a lot of you who join as well, purely because it's going to benefit you so much. So there's a lot going on in there. If you've never reached out, then follow the steps on screen to find out how to join VIP, clicking on each of these red boxes. And if you have reached out before, then the prices are probably lower than you've ever seen them. So do reach out again anyway. Have I ever found Carl the Moon in Dubai? Yes, sir, I have. Met up with him a lot. Very nice guy. A little bit quieter than in the videos, which for some reason wasn't surprising. Wasn't surprising, but a very, very nice guy. Honestly, one of the nicest guys ever. UK people love going to South Africa because of the weather. A little bit random, but actually I'm planning to go there as well. I think it would be very fun. What else have we got in the comments as far as questions go? Do I believe in this general market crash coming March, April? No, I don't think we're getting a big market crash anytime soon. FORFLIES bought lots of Bitcoin, sell or keep. Why are you asking me for financial advice? I can't say. You know I don't give financial advice. Big line for me. Big line that I won't cross. Give it. bcash, I'm not gonna look at bcash today. FORFLIES. Okay, so our moderator in the comments saying that nobody should be blocked, but only one person was timed out. Everyone's behaving in the comments, so that's good. Adam, how is my cat doing? First of all, how do you know I have a cat? Have I ever talked about my cat publicly? I don't think I have, so that's kind of creepy. Number two, I haven't seen her for many months because I don't live in London anymore, and I have no intention of going back. So she's with a friend. FORFLIES, do I think having two orders, one at 43, I can't say, sorry. Don't we have a support box between 46,000 and 48,000? 46.5 and 48.5? Yes, sir, we do. It's all very relative. So I said between 47 and 46, but they're all the same thing, aren't they? What's the highest leverage I use? I never go above 20, very rare, and usually I don't go above 10. 5 to 10 is normal for me. 20 is where I feel really ballsy, and it's generally not a good idea. FORFLIES, I generally have really good TA, but getting the timing right when opening a trade screws me. Any advice? Evan, can you please give me Evan, sorry. Can you please give me some more information, like an example? This person is saying that he has good technical analysis, but he can't get the timing right when he opens a trade. See, sometimes if you have a problem like that, where your analysis is correct, but you enter too early, it might just be a case of accepting repeated small losses until you have a big breakout. And I've definitely taken that approach before. I don't know if I can find you an example off the top of my head, but I've done it before where I've repeatedly made the same trade badly, and then and badly might mean, you know, like I got stopped out minus 20% 3-4 times in a row, and then on the 5th time it hit, you know, like plus 200% profit. So I think that I think that it's not necessarily a bad thing if you get the timing wrong, but give me a more specific example and I'll be able to see if there's any input I can give there. Are 4-hour candles important to analyze the market? In my opinion, they are the best candles to analyze the market on. 4-hour, yeah. FORFLIES, what altcoins do I leverage and why? So I just trade the altcoins that are available on the platforms I trade on. PrimeXBT is one of the platforms I trade on, so if you want to know where I trade, PrimeXBT is one of them. The link to all of them, I only trade on 3 primarily. They are in the description. PrimeXBT is one, which doesn't require KYC, and they actually, aside from just cryptos, they also let you trade gold, for example, and this is what excites me, indices and forex. So you can trade the United States S&P 500, you can trade the UK FTSE 100, sorry, S&P 500 and the UK 100. There's a lot you can trade on PrimeXBT. The link to it is in the description, and you also get a trading bonus, some free money to play with when you sign up using that link as well. It's literally any altcoin that's listed on the exchanges I trade. So Ethereum, Litecoin, EOS, these are all the coins that I'm open to trade. This is only on PrimeXBT. Then on Phemex there's some more, because this isn't the only exchange I use. Phemex, there's Link, there is bcash, there is Cardano. I don't trade bcash anymore. Ontology, I don't think, hang on, no, these are the leverage ones. So there's XTZ, YFI, XRP. There's a lot. You will notice that these are only the major ones. So people ask me random coins like Reef or Aave or whatever. Aave isn't particularly random, but these random kind of, these smaller coins, they're not available to trade on leverage, so I just don't trade them on leverage. There's Phemex, and then of course PrimeXBT, the one I'm highlighting to you today, and Bybit, and Bybit has a few more. Should I divorce my wife and marry my girlfriend? Yes, Valentine's Day is over. FORFLIES, okay, I've already read that. Cheers for the EOS call, made some dollars, congratulations. FORFLIES, your new webcam makes you look even more like Elvis. Elvis? I've never heard that one, but am I like an Indian Elvis? What? I've never heard that one before. FORFLIES, I'm starting to feel bearish on altcoins because it feels so much like the 2018 craziness, just a hunch from 20 years in bull markets. What is your feeling at the moment? Robin, we only cleared the all-time high for Bitcoin 2 months ago, so I don't think we're anywhere close to a big market crash. I could be completely wrong, and it will be okay because I'm not going to get screwed over because I exercise really good risk management, and that's one of the key parts about my trading. However, I don't think that we're close to a bull market, sorry, a bear market yet. I think that Bitcoin still has a lot of steam to rise up, and if Bitcoin's going to go up, then I think that the rest of the altcoins will as well. I do think that it's crazy, but that craziness in 2017 lasted a really long time, and we've only just started it over the past 30 days. Big difference in camera quality. Yeah, it's really cool, right? Really, really cool camera. FORFLIES, if there is a premium between exchanges, do I see that as a bearish? That spot can't keep up with leverage? Nope. So this person is asking me if a spot exchange, which means a real exchange of Bitcoin, you know, where you can actually buy real Bitcoins, is trading lower than a leverage exchange, do I think that that's bearish? No. Some people might. However, leverage exchanges, they trade derivatives, so they don't trade real Bitcoins, they trade paper Bitcoins. So when you buy gold with your exchange, for example, you're not buying real gold, you're buying a derivative of gold, you're buying like a paper asset of gold, which is real, it's still legally binding and everything, but you don't actually get the gold. Some people would consider it bearish if the derivative price is higher than the spot price, or the other way around. However, I just think that that means you're reading in too much, because when you zoom out, the price difference isn't actually that big. FORFLIES, what shop is Bottega Veneta behind you in the Dubai street? I guess it's Bottega Veneta, right? Veneta? I don't even know how you say it. I'm so bad with designer stuff. Yeah, if I do zoom in on my camera, you can see that the office is right next to the Dubai Mall, although... Where is it? Can you... There it is. On that side. Right there. Oh, that's not... Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, it's the Fashion Avenue. This is where the fashion stores are. Burj Khalifa right there. So we're right in the middle of Dubai. If one of you guys watching this video with a Lambo right now, Chris, Crypto, if you're watching, and you just like zoomed right past, I would literally show everyone your car right here from the window. FORFLIES, should I invest in Bitcoins? That's for you to decide, brother. I couldn't say for you. Thank you all for hitting like on this live stream already. Please do so if you haven't already, and subscribe as well if you haven't. What about launch pads? What about them? I don't know. Don't really have an opinion there. Alright, looks like I've pretty much finished all the questions. How do I decide which leverage is appropriate? So it depends on how far away my stop loss would be most of the time. And sometimes it depends on how tight the range is. So if, for example, I only anticipate on trading a range between, say, 42,000 and 47,000, that's quite a small range of only about 10%. In this case, I did choose to only use 5x leverage because the risk was very high, and that's because my entry level was bad. However, if I'm trading a tight range, I would amplify the leverage. If my entry is bad, I would lower the leverage. If I... Sparkling water taste of TV static. That's so accurate. If my stop loss was really far away, I would lower the leverage, things like that. And so I always like to have it at around 10 because it's a nice number. In mind is what is the other thing? Oh, completely forgot. Okay, never mind. Oh yeah. The maximum loss that I'm comfortable with on any one trade is minus 30%. So I will adjust my leverage depending on that. That's why sometimes VIP members see me taking 7 times leverage, for example. FORFLIES, what significance does capital gains tax play into one's trade entries, risk calculation and profit taking, or things one should consider? I don't think capital gains tax matters at all. It's only the tax you pay on the money that you take out at the end, if you've made money. So, the real concern is how to make money, not the tax you have to pay afterwards. Do I use wallets for Bitcoin? Or do I do it in the exchange? Both. I just hold functional amounts on exchanges. FORFLIES, what do I think? Oh, I got the same question. Yeah, guys, you don't need to repeat your questions because I answer every single one of them. So you don't need to write them like 5 times. It's getting a little bit annoying because a lot of people do that. Very short term, is Bitcoin going to break support 47k? I certainly hope not. And I don't think so, but if it does still have some more support below. Phil, every video I watch, I learn a new tip or trick. You don't even mean to show them most of the time, but the more time I spend just watching and observing, the more I pick up. That's so cool, Phil. Thank you so much. That's how it tends to be when you watch people who you consider to be competent. You don't necessarily... They don't necessarily need to be consciously dropping nuggets of wisdom, and you don't necessarily need to be fishing for them, but by just paying attention, you will pick up on things that improve your trading. And I'm really glad that that happens for you as well. I got a really cool message from somebody on Instagram who I need to reply to, and this person mentioned that the analysis I do and things like that makes a lot of sense because I'm taking a very level-headed, simple approach. You know, the thing that a lot of people mess up on when they start trading is because they're trading badly and they can't seem to lock down any profits, they think that it's something wrong with their tools, and they think that they don't have access to the right stuff, and as soon as they do have access to the right stuff, they'll start performing a lot better. That's generally what people believe in trading, and so they start to compensate, and I love making the joke, they start to compensate for what's lacking downstairs by having flashy stuff outside of their life, right? And the equivalent to that in trading is, if you can't trade well and you can't hold on to profits and you can't make profits and things like that, you might resort to learning some crazy random indicator which is completely, like, way too overcomplicated, but you do it because you think that, you know, like, if your normal analysis isn't working, you must be doing something wrong, that kind of thing. And that thinking is flawed, in my opinion. A lot of the time, it's not that you need more tools or you need more whatever to understand how to trade well, how to analyze well. A lot of the time, it just comes down to understanding more about the basics of that's hard to say. The basics of economics and supply and demand. Really, all you need to understand is supply and demand and psychology. And then, yeah, some of the technicals, and you've got most of it covered at that point, really. So I think that a lot of people miss that, and that was a very cool message to get on Instagram as a result, because that's exactly what I'm going for, and it's really cool to see that somebody, obviously many of you pick up on it, but it's really cool to get that in a message and a vote of confidence, like your likes, like your subscriptions to this channel. Thank you very much, by the way. We've just passed 66,000 subscribers, if I'm not mistaken. Was it 66 or 67? 67, my bad. We've just passed 67, so thank you all very much for that. Do I use the earn feature on Swissborg? No, not yet. Although I don't know the names of the features. I know what the features are, I just don't know the names, so I'm not sure. FORFLIES, you pretty much hit it on the head. I'm good at identifying price targets, support, and resistance levels. However, sometimes I enter too early or I start in profit early, but I hodl too long. Yeah, I think that a trading journal would help you fix those problems, because you will identify where you've taken profits too early. You will explain why you took profits early, despite knowing that maybe you should have let the position run a little bit longer, things like that. Why you let a position run too long, and then you'll see the end result compared to your reasoning, and that will really serve you to pinpoint what's going wrong and how you can fix it. I think that there's a lot of really small things going wrong, Evan. And that's a good thing, because it means you don't have any big fundamental issues. But obviously, if you have small things going wrong, then yeah, you want to fix them. How do I trade channel breakout without staying behind the screen? Nick, I have alerts set up and I have orders set up in advance. And these are things that I teach you all about inside of the VIP group. So yeah, you guys know my lifestyle very well. I'm a young guy, I'm 19, I've got a Ferrari. You think I'm here sitting around on the computer all day? Like, come on, let's be honest, you know, like, I'm out there in Dubai, you know, racing around and doing things that I can't say on video. And that's just not my life. So my approach is a lot more relaxed, shall I say, as a trader, and that's where real trading success happens for most people. It's when you start having more of an abundance mentality, you don't really feel so dependent or desperate for profits. That's how you kind of start to make them. So I never really sit behind the computer all day. I have alerts set up and I have orders set up in advance, and I show you guys inside of VIP, inside of our courses as well, how to do those things. And if you ever have questions about it, just come straight to my DMs. These steps on screen will show you how to message me directly. I've got a lot of new screenshots to show you, actually. Here's one of them actually. Let me just bring up one real quick. This guy, bam. Just a little clean, bam, 30% profit right there, easy. And making some nice 30% gains right there on Ethereum. Another one. If it loads. What is the funding rate? What makes the funding rate so important and why? Ben, the funding rate is what you pay to keep your position open on a leverage exchange. So if you've borrowed leverage from an exchange, I don't think that makes sense. If you've applied leverage on an exchange, you will pay a fee roughly, usually every 8 hours, depending on how big your position size is. And the reason it's important is because it's bloody expensive. It's really expensive. So that's why it's important. The longer you keep a position open, the more you are exposed to that fee. And it will really screw you over if you don't know what you're doing. But broadly speaking, if you're in a profitable position, it shouldn't matter, because it shouldn't be, you know, it's usually never more than like 0.1% of your total position size, which is still a lot. But as soon as you've made like 10% profit, you know, like, you know, you can suffer that funding rate like 100 times or 1,000 times and you'll be all right. I'll just leave this information up on screen for those of you still asking about VIP, and my assistant will get back to you very soon. He hasn't responded to anyone yet. However, he will do so very soon. What creator / video do I recommend for technical analysis? So obviously I'll recommend myself. I've got a course on this stuff, but if you can't afford what we've got, or you just don't want to buy from me, which is completely fine, there's a bunch of stuff on Amazon. Just type in like, you know, like how to trade ebook, something like that, and you'll see a bunch of cheaper options like $5 or whatever. Yeah, I think that's a good starting point. Do I calculate the spread cost involved in working out my stop loss account? No, because usually there's enough liquidity. And even if there's not enough liquidity, usually Bitcoin will hover around the stop loss area. So it will fill where I want it to fill. I have no positions on Bitcoin right now. Thanks for everything, bro. You're very, very welcome, my friend. Very welcome. Is it possible to use Swissborg with a VPN? Not the app, as far as I know. You can give it a try, but I don't think it's gonna work. And it might actually be dangerous. How about leverage versus margin? Same thing. Yeah, same thing. You might be talking about cross leverage, isolated versus cross. That's super complicated. I don't even explain that in VIP. It's just not. I only use isolated leverage. FORFLIES, well done on what you achieved. I mean, I can see you're very well off for yourself. Just amazing. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And like I said, the thing that's cool about it is that the big profits only really tend to come when you really step back from the market and you stop being so dependent on it. I, over the past 3 days, was dealing with a bunch of personal stuff. Again, nothing serious, nothing terribly bad, but I know that during this time, other people were contributing towards more grey hair on their head, worrying about what's happening with Bitcoin, creaming themselves over this pump, maybe entering a long position, now being in a loss. One of the people in the comment section is in that exact position right now. It's very hard to be in a loss on Bitcoin right now. You know that, right? Like, we're at a bloody all-time high, broadly speaking, on a macro level, yet people are still in losses. And so, you know, when you step away from the computer and you stop putting so much emphasis on, because this is the other thing, you know, I mentioned, and this is the big aspect of where people screw up as traders. Number one, people think that if they can't trade well, they need more indicators, they need more tools. And number two, and this one's probably worse, they think that if they can't trade well and they can't lock onto profits and they can't make profits, they think that number two, they should spend more time analyzing. And so number one, they think more indicators, more tools. Number two, they think more time. And this would work in any other industry. You know, like if you ran a bloody flower shop or you ran some online business or whatever, you know, like the more time you put in, the more effort you put in, the more money you would tend to make, right? You know, like even if it just means putting out leaflets in people's doors, or, you know, like you would see some difference. In trading, this is one of the few things that you can do which will make you worse off. You need to do sorry, I need to do the main thing correctly, and beyond that, my job is done. Then I just wait. And people don't really get that. They get a little bit desperate because they see other people making gains and things like that, and so they just kind of rush in and they do things too quickly. And I think that's where big problems come up. So that to me is a concern, and I think that a lot of people need to hear about that. You know, because I'm sorry, I forgot where I even saw this question now, but. Where was the forgot why I even started talking about this. Anyway, this is where the mistakes happen. It's where people spend too much time analyzing as well, because, you know, let's be honest, this chart, right, we analyzed it on this YouTube live stream. Oops, you can't see my screen. We've analyzed this chart on this live stream just now, and there's nothing else to say. You know, like, nothing else has happened in the market. So, you know, like, I can come back tomorrow, but if we haven't broken out of this rising wedge, either to the downside or the upside, then literally nothing has changed. So it will take me less than 10 seconds to see, did we go up or did we go down? And if we didn't do either of them, then I don't have anything to do. So I'm just going to go back into the desert and get my Ferrari stuck in the sand and get saved by another Arab, because Arab people are amazing. You know, like, there's nothing for me to do other than to go back out into the real world. And I can't break it down enough for you guys how little time this takes. I sit around with a lot of people who run businesses and, you know, who are otherwise wealthy and successful, and they are constantly shocked by how little time I spend trading and analyzing. I just don't need to. The analysis is done. You know, like, there's nothing to do after that. And I wish you guys watching this live stream right now could see me in my daily life, because you would see with very, very clear examples how I really don't spend such a long amount of time doing this. You know, the more you spend, the more likely you are to overthink and rationalize things that don't exist. And make mistakes. Which is more possible, Ethereum breaking down or going up? Let's take a look. Oh, I don't know right now. I think it's more likely Ethereum will pump up, but it's really hard to say right now. So as long as the risk is managed, then money should come. Barnaby, I think that's a big part of it. The risk management, first and foremost, is not necessarily, in my opinion, to make money, but it is to prevent yourself from losing money. And that's really important, because if you lose money, I always say this, if you lose money, you get fucked in two ways. Number one, you feel like shit, and I'm sorry, number one, it's hard to recover from, right? If you lose 50%, you have to double your money to break even. Number two, you feel like shit. So you've got a big financial loss it's hard to recover from, and now you can't do it because your psyche, your mental headspace isn't on point. So you've really lost your biggest asset. That's where risk management comes in. It's to protect yourself from being worse than you are right now in terms of your headspace. I'm sorry, I need to turn this off for a second. And so I think that's a big part of where the risk management comes in. It's about basically preventing yourself from suffering bad positions. Where the money should come then is in repeatedly making good trading decisions, following a good system, identifying good patterns, and improving on it continuously. And I think that's where the money comes from. And the risk management, in my opinion, it just prevents you from losing too much money. Because if you lose money, you can't hit your goal of making money. And it helps you prevent that. I think that's a big part of it. Hunter is asking, Bitcoin already broke 50k, so what remains to be seen? It's the fact that Bitcoin didn't stay above 50k. So, in short, what I've been saying is that Bitcoin right now is in a market that should be parabolic, rising upwards very, very quickly, but it's not. And so I think it's going to happen relatively soon. And if it does happen, I think it could take us straight up to some levels like $60,000, which would obviously be very, very exciting. Alexander asking FORFLIES do vlogs. I might. They're a lot of effort, and I don't think they're worth the time, but I might do like one as a creative experiment, because I actually miss working with cameras. I used to... If you guys don't know, this channel, you know, because I'm a young guy, I've been doing YouTube for a long time. This channel used to be technology reviews. So I used to like review smartphones on this YouTube channel. I would buy a phone, I would review it, I would sell it straight away. That's how I kind of ran my little business as a kid. And I would lose money every single time, but then I would make back whatever I lost in ad revenue or sponsorships or whatever. So it actually worked out pretty well, but I only made like at most a couple $100s a month. However, as a teenager, it was pretty... I'm still a teenager, but as a young teenager, it was pretty amazing. It's unbelievable that I'm still a teenager, although slightly terrifying that I'm nearly 20. Barnaby saying, I ask because I'm very good at technical analysis, but bad risk management because of greed. So yeah, I got fucked last few weeks. Of course you did, yeah. If you didn't have good risk management, you would have gotten completely destroyed. Yeah. There's no getting around that. It doesn't matter how good your trades are, how good your psychology is in you know, like gaming the market. If you can't manage your risk properly, eventually you're going to get fucked. It's going to happen. You know, like if you roll the dice over and over again, and if you ever roll something below the value, but below the digit 3, and below 3 means a big loss, eventually you're gonna roll something below 3, you know? Like, that's how likely it is in my opinion, where if you don't exercise good risk management, you're gonna screw yourself over. There's no getting around that, man. You gotta learn that lesson. Again, this is where trading journals help, because, you know, we go back to Nathan's question about the trading journals. The difference between you, somebody who's made a little bit of money, you got a little bit of confidence, you have good technical analysis, and the guy who's not as smart as you and not as good as you, but has a trading journal, the difference between you two is that this guy who joins FORFLIES VIP, I'm sorry, he's much smarter than you if he joins, but it's just self-flattery. I'm sorry, let's just imagine I didn't say that. But this guy who did journal his trades, he spots the mistakes that he's making 5 trades before you. That's the difference between you and the guy she tells you not to worry about. That's the difference between you and the guy who journals his or her trades. The person who journals his or her trades. This person realizes there are mistakes 5 trades before you, which means they have 5 less losses and they have 5 more wins. That's where the key is. And that makes it sound like you're only 5 steps behind the other person, but crucially it means that you can never actually get those 5 steps. You can never actually move those steps forward as well. There are so many useful benefits to journaling trades, and it's just one thing that I highlight inside of the VIP group. There's so much more. So if you want to join the group and see exactly what's going on, then the steps are on screen right now for you to get in. FORFLIES, really appreciate your advice. I don't give advice. Thanks a lot. You're still welcome, but I don't give advice. Phil, I'm down a lot, but setting the target's much more realistic, and before I even enter, just closing at least some of my position in profit much earlier, not always shooting for the moon. It's a great way to do it, man. You know, I always show you this calculation, but I think it's worth doing again before I sign off on this live stream today, where aiming for smaller profits will work out for you a lot better. Let's use the same starting balance of 100, and let's multiply it by, you know, 1%, sorry, let's say 20% profit. 100 times 1.2 gives you $120. What are we aiming for? Let's go in the comments right now. Give me a realistic number that you would like to turn $100 into inside of 6 months. Somebody give me a realistic number. In 6 months, what would you like to turn $100 into? Let's see what we've got. Just waiting for one number in the comment section. As we're waiting, please shoot up the likes if you find this analogy useful. If you've heard it before and you're excited to hear me go through it again, shoot up the likes, because I know you guys like me repeating this kind of stuff. CJ, wants to turn $100 into 5,000. That's a tall order. That's not easy. That's a 50 times return, but let's go with it. Payton wants 10%. That's super easy. 20k, 2k, 10k. None of these numbers are realistic in my opinion. Powell wants to turn it into less money. None of these numbers are realistic apart from maybe $500 in my opinion. The thing is, it's very easy to make 10%, but you know, when we start talking about really big numbers like 5k, you need to consistently be displaying very, very good risk management. There's a lot of numbers now. Okay, you guys can stop. Fucking hell. Okay, now we got like 100k. Anyway, the point is, if you want to turn $5,000, we're just going to take 5,000 because it was the first decent number. If you want to turn $5,000, $100 into 5,000, you need to make a 50 times return, which means, oops. What have I done? Which means you need to land 100 times 50, right, in order to make $5,000, and that is not easy. However, if we look at how to do this with exponentials, let's say, you know, like you do it with 2 times gains. How many 2 times gains do you need to turn $100 into 5,000? I don't know. Let's say, is it 10? Is it 10 2 times gains? That puts you at 102,000. No, it's not. It must be about 8 then. 25,000. No, it's at 7. No, I'm sorry. As you can tell, my math is terrible. Bam, right there. This is the closest we're going to get. No, 6. You need to double your money 6 times when you start from $100 to get close to a $5,000 gain. Oh, it's black. Oops. I'm sorry. Can you see it now? I'm sorry for that. Yeah, you need to double your money 6 times in order to make to get close to 5k. And the point here is that it's not easy to double your money. Okay, it's not easy. It's okay. It's stop shouting at me. It's fine now. You guys are bullying me. It's not, it's not easy to double your money. And you know, let's just put it into perspective really quickly. 6 months ago from now, we've had probably the best bull market of Bitcoin like ever in you know, in the recent. I mean, this is like the best bull market in any major market apart from like Tesla for quite a long time. And let's just measure back what's happened from 6 months, right? We're on February right now. Oh god, what does that put us? 6 months ago is August. August last year was right around over here. From August to where we are right now, Bitcoin has done a 4 times gain. Right, Bitcoin's gone from 10k to about 50k, so it's closer to a 5 times gain. It's done a 4 or 5 times gain, and this is one of the best bull markets ever. So you can see how actually it's, even in one of the best bull markets ever, we still didn't get close to a 5 times gain. You know, we only got 4, so there's quite a bit to go. The point is, it's not easy to aim for things like a 2 times gain. They just don't come often, and you would have to get it 6 times in a row. So let's just, you know, like the chances of you hitting a double gain on any one trade are very low, and then the chances of you doing it 6 times in a row are very, very low. However, the chances of you doing the same thing with 20% profits many, many times in a row, this is a lot more realistic. If you got 20% profits in a row, you've multiplied your money by 600. This was one of the realistic targets that I saw in the comment section. Somebody said they would like to turn their money into $500, $600. This is a lot more realistic in 6 months, and you only need to make a very easy 20% profit 10 times in a row. And if we go back to the numbers here, you know, in order to make a 20% profit, it's not asking for a lot. You know, if you saw, let's say, this support level between 46 and 47,000, which was a very obvious support level because we found resistance here before. So I'm guessing a lot of you were at least aware of this support area. If you took a long position up on Bitcoin at this level with 10 times leverage, and you traded it to the current price, 10 times leverage from this area to the current price is up by 3.42%. That's a 34% profit on 10 times leverage. So that's super doable if we go back to 20%. because you can make that really quickly with leverage. Obviously, you can lose it very quickly with leverage too. However, the point is that it's very achievable to make these smaller numbers. And you can do that as a result a lot of times. You can do it a lot of times in a row, and it really, really adds up. So 20% profits in a row will put you at $3,800. You've now quadrupled your money. Sorry, times 40. You've had a 40 times gain on your money with 20 of these gains. You know, if we go to say 25, now we're at 9,000. I have to sneeze. Pardon me. I don't know. You get the point, right? It's that, bam, right there. 22. You need to make 20% profits in a row in order to make a 5,000. In order to make a 50 times gain, which is probably easier than making 6 2-times gains. Man, that was a very choppy explanation. I'm sorry for... I have not switched to my old camera. This is crystal clear. Oh my god, I look absolutely beautiful. No, this is not the old camera. But yeah, that was... I'm sorry, that wasn't so easy to explain. But you know, if we look at a more realistic number, you know, I don't know, like say 5. If you made 20% profits, I mean, look at how easy it would be to make 20% profit. You know, like again, let's say you expected Bitcoin would get rejected at 50k the first time we traded near it. So 49.7. This is a very easy area to start taking on a short position with 10 times leverage. You know, and then let's say you closed it at the bottom, at the top of the support area. That's a minus 5.4% drop. And if you were to trade that on 10 times leverage, that's a 54% profit. So again, these are much more achievable numbers. And if you just made, say, 54% profits in a row, you've already more than tripled your money. So the point is that you can see very clearly how the power is in compounding your gains, not for looking for massive home runs. I'm sorry, that was a really... I think I just... I might be tired or something, because that was a really bad explanation, but I hope it made sense. Some crazy targets here. You guys are way too ambitious. Some people, I mean, I know you were joking, but it's like 5 mil. Is that the number? Yeah, 5. Someone wants to turn $100 into 5 mil in 6 months. I don't think that's ever happened. I don't know. It probably has actually, but it's not easy. Makes perfect sense? Great. Glad it does. Awesome. I don't know any AI algorithms and stuff. No, sorry. Alright guys, it's now 2 hours and I want to get going. So I think I'm gonna, if you have any final questions you want me to really answer before I leave, then please let me know in the comment section. If you do have anything, then yeah, drop them in the comments. Once again, if you want to get into the VIP group and see how I'm trading all of this information, you've seen all the analysis, you've seen the beautiful chassis of the Ferrari. If you now want to get behind the engine and you want to hear the engine going, you want to watch the engine moving. You got the Ferrari, you got the body, but there's no engine in it. If you want the engine, you want both of them, then VIP is where you can complete this beautiful combination of amazing content. And the steps to join are on screen right now. Even if you don't want to join VIP, then following the first link in the description will take you into our free Telegram channel. And if you like these live streams, then this Telegram channel will notify you when I'm going live, so you can join in right at the beginning. The beginning is always the best part. I don't know why most of you are always around at the end, because the beginning is always the best part. So, you know, like, I love you all, but please get it right. Like, you should be joining at the beginning and not at the end. And if you want to get the notifications for it, then the steps to join are on screen right now. I haven't seen Mars Coin. Elon Musk is not somebody to be blindly listening to all the time. I love him to bits, but he's a little bit crazy, and we all know that. So I don't know why everyone takes his word as God's word, because it's a little bit weird to me. I like when you have front light on my face. I should get front lights. Really? I think it looks pretty cool like this too, because you can see the Burj Khalifa now. Now actually you can still see the Burj Khalifa. This is actually very bright though. Bring it down a bit. This looks a little bit better, right? Let's compare that. Yeah, this looks all right. Yeah, I'm planning on getting some more lights. First, I need to fix the connection issues, because we have a lot of connection problems on these live streams, and it's a really big issue in my opinion. So once they get fixed, I'll probably look at the lighting and stuff. Last question, how was my day today? Thank you very much. Actually, somebody else already asked this as well. It was overall it was good. I've tied up an issue that was plaguing me a little bit. Actually, I helped some. It wasn't actually my personal problem I was dealing with. It was somebody else's, but I've helped that person, and the problem is now gone. So that's good. I feel like the market is gonna blow up quite soon, you know, and that makes me quite excited for the market. I like the dark, gives cozy vibes. Me too, man. I definitely prefer the dark as well. I think it's a lot better. Elon is weird as fuck. Yes, he is. No, I'm not in London anymore. I left many months ago. I now live in Dubai. Yeah, it's the place to be, 100%. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time as well, for tuning into this live stream. I hope you all have enjoyed it. If you haven't already, please hit up the likes. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Tick the bell. Join our Telegram channel with the first link in the description. All little things that help me and help you. Face it, if you were the richest man in the world, you'd also tweet crazy things just for a laugh. Yeah, I mean, I would hope to be a little bit more responsible than he is, but he doesn't have to be responsible, so it's not like I'm mad at him. I'm a little bit more concerned that other people take his word as God's word. That's what's, you know, like, oh my god, did you hear Elon Musk did this? You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's people kind of obsess over it too much, and that's where I think the stupidity lies. Which can sometimes be an indication that the market's about to bump up as well. So, alright guys, I'm going to leave you with that, and hope you have enjoyed this once again. Already answered this this Bitcoin dominance question to Trader DJ, so please rewind the live stream. I think it was about 20 minutes in. Half light is better, so is this kind of what you're talking about with half light? Why did it get liquidated from far away from my liquidation price? You probably weren't far away from your liquidation price. Maybe the price went down there for 1 second or something. Thanks again for the stream. Enjoy the rest of your night. You too, Kevin. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to be heading off now. It's been a good 2 hours. We really need to fix the shadow ban issue. I am starting to get a little bit pissed off that that YouTube isn't pushing the content more. Actually, that's one of the reasons I wasn't actually putting out any content recently as well. Just one of them, not the main one. But YouTube shadow banning this channel has really pissed me off, and you know, like, I don't need to make these videos, so if I don't feel like the effort is rewarded as much as it could be, it's not to say that I am unappreciative, but it's more so to say that I then can't be bothered, and that's why I constantly ask for the likes a lot more recently. But I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. I found this channel by typing Bitcoin Live. Okay, interesting. Well, please do subscribe if you've enjoyed it. Final note is, if you are looking for a place to trade, then I will bring up the link to Prime XBT. It is a great platform. It's one of the 3 main platforms that I trade on, linked in the description below for you to sign up on. The cool thing about Prime XBT is that it allows you to trade gold and indices and Forex. So there's a lot of options other than just crypto, but it mainly does run on crypto. And no, it only runs on crypto. Like, you can only deposit Bitcoin. There's no KYC as well, which is pretty cool. No KYC required, I should say. It is an option. And if you're in the US, you'd have to use a VPN if you connect to this, but obviously I can't endorse that. Shout out to Hypersonic for finding this channel just today. Lucky you. Please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If any of you are looking for a place to trade, then like I said, the places I trade on are linked down below. Somebody asked me about the lack of isolated leverage on Prime XBT, and it's stupid, and I've told them this many times. I don't like the fact that you can only trade on cross leverage. It makes it way more complicated. And I've told them this before a lot, but because I work with them, but they just haven't fixed it yet. It's not even a fix. I mean, it's a deliberate design choice. I just think it's stupid, especially because it's a crypto exchange. But I don't know. They like it this way, and I can't tell them how to run their business. Dubai has good internet? No, it's fucking terrible. It's like, it's the worst. How many countries have I been to? Okay, I haven't really been to like underdeveloped countries ever. However, the closest I've been to an underdeveloped country is probably Greece. And it's way worse. Way worse. Yeah, it's fucking terrible in Dubai. And you know, the reason it's worse is like the speeds might be faster, but the reliability is absolutely terrible. And the processes, my god, it's so weird, you know, like, okay, so I'm not 21, I'm 19. Someone asked me how old I am. I'm 19. And you need to be 21 to get Wi-Fi in Dubai. Like, it's so weird. I have an apartment in Dubai and I can't get Wi-Fi in it because I'm not 21. Like, I can sign the contract, I can pay for it, I can drive a fucking Ferrari, but I can't have Wi-Fi? Like, what? I don't get it. So, all of you guys who asked about VIP, by the way, my assistant is now responding to you. So if you want to get your quick ask in, you can do that. Someone else mentioning in the comments that they searched Bitcoin Live and subscribed. That's amazing. Thank you all for finding the channel and yeah, tuning in and subscribing. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. I pressed like now. Thank you very much. What could end Bitcoin's success? I'd hate all these things to be a waste of money. I guess just really excessive, strict regulations probably would make it fail. Although it could actually make it a lot more. It could make it a lot more stronger. But yeah, I'm not so sure. What exactly is shadow ban? A shadow ban is where I'm not, like, the channel is not banned, but it's not reaching as many people as it should be reaching, and part of that means you know, like, subscribers don't get notified. They want to get notified about the videos, but they don't, and that's why I tell you to join the Telegram channel with the first link in the description. Don't say anything bad about Dubai. I'm not saying I love the city. I endorse the city every single day. I just think that their Wi-Fi infrastructure is terrible. You know, and like, yeah, obviously you shouldn't be disrespectful to people here in Dubai, and you shouldn't be disrespectful to especially people in power. You know, like, this is obvious stuff, and it's just down to respect. But this is not a matter of respect. This is a matter of they blocked competition in a vital sector, and now the entire sector suffers because of it. You know, like, in the rest of the world, there's a lot more competition for things like Wi-Fi in many parts of the rest of the world, and that's why, for example, the UK has very good Wi-Fi infrastructure. The United States has very, very good infrastructure for things like Wi-Fi, because there's a free market. And when you have a free market, you have competition. And when you have competition, you have a good product. And unfortunately, the UAE has missed the mark on that. They restrict quite a few different markets, and it's fine because it means that they control quality, and it means that you don't get shit on the market and you don't get scammed. But in things like this, it means that you do get, you know, I mean, just connections that constantly cut out and things like that. And there's a lot of YouTubers among me who have moved out to Dubai and complain about the same thing. They are fixing it. In my apartment, I do have Wi-Fi, by the way. I found a way around it, and I get a speed comparable to what I used to get in London, about 500 megabits per second down. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good for a YouTuber, right? You know, like I'm a YouTuber. You gotta, you know, 500. A lot of people's jaws have just dropped. Oh my god, 500. But I'm a YouTuber. I need fast Wi-Fi. You know what I mean? Like if I don't get it, I just can't do my stuff. And that's good, but it cuts out. You know, like it cuts out in Dubai. You know, like there could be like a Rolls Royce parked outside my apartment or whatever, and the Wi-Fi will cut out. It doesn't make sense. It's like they do everything else really, really well, but they mess up completely on a few small things. And they're not deal breakers, but they're really frustrating. So I hope they fix it. Thing I will say though is, and I keep on thinking about this, is if I were a local Emirati who lived here, I would I would absolutely love the government here, because they've turned nothing into something continuously all over the city, and they've still upheld crucial values for the most part, Islamic values and just cultural values of the Middle East, and I think they've done very, very well for people who live here. I've only lived here now for a series of months, roughly 6 months, a little bit more. And I already weirdly feel a sense of pride being in the United Arab Emirates, even though they screw up on things like Wi-Fi. And maybe part of that is a coping mechanism, because I don't feel so much pride being British anymore. I don't know. Anyway, I will go now. How do I think crypto will hold up to a financial crisis like the crash in the late 2000s? I think crypto will do very well. Is Dubai humid? No, not right now. It's hot, yes. I don't like humid weather. I live in the Philippines at the moment. Very hard to adjust. There's a lot of people from the Philippines in Dubai, so you could probably just ask like a friend of a friend and they can tell you. But at the moment, it's not humid. Yeah, although I don't know, I'm not actually sensitive to humidity, so when it's humid I can't tell. I don't know why, there's something wrong with me. Anyway guys, I'm gonna get going. Oh, there's a Greek person who said that they're offended. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you, but come on, you know, I love Greece, by the way. I go there every year, and I go there a lot. It's a really cool place. I plan on driving there this year. I love Greece, I think it's an amazing country, but you know, like, the government kind of fucked you guys over, you know? I guess the people fucked you over because you voted for him, but this is one of the reasons I like the UAE. Don't get me wrong, I think democracy is very important, but it doesn't work in the West at the moment. That's why you idiots elected Trump and then Biden. Fucked up completely on one side, and then you fucked up completely on the other side. There's your democracy. It's like, you know, there comes a point where having something that's a little bit more restrictive might actually be better for overall quality of life. I'm not drawing a conclusion there, I'm just putting forward an alternative argument which is very taboo in today's culture. When do I come to Philippines? I've never been there. I don't have plans at the moment. Britain is kind of weird since Brexit. Yeah, it is, man. Since Brexit was originally like being campaigned for, the whole country just started to lose itself. And you could actually trace that way back to like 30 years ago or something, you know? You could trace this back to any time, but I started feeling it, yeah, with the whole Brexit bullshit. Anyway, guys, I really am going to go now, so